said that flat earther goes to Antarctica and
accepted that the evidence he was presented with was in no possible way possible.
Allow myself to introduce myself.
Let me try that again.
the most important secret to the elite, the most important, is keeping the globe lie alive. Because if the globe lie dies, they lose all control of humanity, right?
Ah, the globe lie, because apparently complex maths and observable reality are just too convenient for the elites. They'd rather spend billions faking space missions.
Wow, Neil Armstrong. Hey, wait a minute. You're supposed to be on the moon.
Makes perfect sense. If you're a potato or a coward who said no to a free trip to Antarctica to observe the 24-hour sun.
Shut up and sit down, you big bald f***.
Please subscribe. Today's video is interesting because I'm covering Jeranism, covering Dave Weiss, covering the final experiment. What? You try coming up with new video ideas every other day.
So I think this is an operation bigger than those two put together and as important as the moon landing. So to think otherwise is naive, right? They're watching us. They change things. They blow up the Georgia Guidestones when we have...
But you can go there, Dave. Do a crowdfund. I'll be the first one to throw $200 in the kitty. People will pay for you to go to Antarctica. Then what are you going to say?
If he did crowdfund a trip to Antarctica, we'd all throw a few quid into the kitty. I know I would. But he's already turned down one free trip to see the 24-hour sun for himself. He knows people can go there. He just didn't want to be one of those people because he realized that his grift would be over.
The 24-hour sun in Antarctica doesn't work on a flat earth.
And we all know that Dave Weiss only cares about the flat earth grift.
Because your lies only work, your story only works until you've been there. And then you realize how goofy you sound.
That right there that Jaren just said perfectly sums up how all flat earthers should have reacted to what was witnessed in Antarctica. But they didn't. They've all just ganged up on Jaren because his reaction was the appropriate one.
They backpedal, they change the globe post constantly, and don't think that this wasn't well planned. My hypothesis is this was planned for over a decade.
Oh, that's a good hypothesis. I'm sure you have good evidence for that.
Come on, Jaren, you were a flat earther for a very long time. There's no way you forgot already that the flat earth and evidence aren't exactly best buddies. And I know Will likes to be well prepared and everything, but spending 10 years planning a trip to Antarctica for some globe earthers and some flat earthers to witness the 24-hour sun for themselves seems a little far-fetched to me. Especially as most of us weren't even on YouTube 10 years ago. So unless Will is also now a clairvoyant, then I don't buy it.
And they put the actors in place.
What actors?
Right? So I got a couple of very, very short videos I'm going to play throughout this, and we'll go from there. But I want to read a quote to you. It says, now, if we want to ascertain the shape of the floor of any large room, we get down to the floor itself and do not go about measuring the gas globes or spots on the ceiling.
You know, when you say that, Dave, you don't half sound like a twat.
Take it easy, man. Cool your beans, bro.
But yeah, the floor of a room analogy is insane because comparing the Earth, a massive celestial body influenced by gravity and rotation, to a room is a totally valid scientific comparison.
Yes, science!
So by that logic, if I want to know the shape of the ocean, I should just take a peek in my bathtub. And if I want to understand astrophysics, I should consult my toaster. Makes perfect sense, Dave. I'm sure Galileo and Newton are kicking themselves for not thinking of this groundbreaking room theory.
Right, because on most people's ceilings, there isn't something that is as perfect as the sky clock. Do you understand? The sun does the same thing for every year for all of history. So to compare it to lights on your ceiling in your house that don't move, that have no path, is folly. Stop reading quotes that have nothing to do with your point.
Oh, I've never thought of using the word folly in my videos before, and I haven't in this one. Jaren did, but it's my video, so I'm stealing it. Yeah, Dave, that's folly.
So it is with respect to the Earth to determine its shape, we take observations of its surface. For whatever be the shape of the earth, heavenly bodies be the shape of the heavenly bodies, made only for lights, they cannot in any way affect the surface shape of the earth.
So celestial bodies are just lights that have no impact on Earth's shape. But it sounded to me like Dave thinks that we think that the shape of the Earth is caused by these celestial bodies. And if that is what he thinks, then, oh dear.
Right. This is what we used that argument for from day one until you just decided to change it on a whim. You cannot look at spheres in the sky and say, that's a sphere, we're a sphere. Notice what he says. To determine its shape, we take observation of its surface. For whatever be the shape of the heavenly bodies, that's a sphere, made only for lights. They cannot in any way affect the surface shape of the earth. So what are you reading that quote for? Are you trying to say that we can't use the item in the sky to determine where we are on the earth when we watch it go upside down? When we take sunspot images and they're upside down in the south? The moon is upside down in the south. The sun is upside down in the south. It goes the opposite direction.
Yeah.
You are creating situations that cannot be debunked. How can somebody disprove what you just said about Will Duffy? They can't. You've just claimed that he's been put there 10 years ago in an acting gig to be there for 10 years later down the road. So you've made a claim that cannot be debunked because there's nobody who has evidence that would say differently than that. Well, actually, he's well, yeah, of course he was a pastor. Of course he was a financial analyst. That's what they wanted him to be.
But Jaron, everyone knows that the most efficient way to maintain a global conspiracy is to hire actors and give them elaborate backstories that have been there for over a decade.
To what they've done, this was a remote hoax where you have
a remote hoax. That's what it was. I was fucking there. I flew to Antarctica. Do you understand? There's no hoax. There is a well-run operation. We talked to the heads of ALE.
But that doesn't matter to flat earthers, Jaron. They don't care about the truth. All they care about, well, especially in Dave Weiss's case, is keeping on putting money in his pocket. So it wouldn't really have made that much of a difference, I think, if he had gone on the final experiment, because he would have still found a way to call it fake, even if he was there himself. So maybe having a whip round to send him isn't such a good idea after all.
We ate dinner with these people that do this every year. We talked to employees that work there every year. They live there for 4 months a year. Then they go and live in Alaska for 4 months. Then they wait 4 months, then they come back. Do you understand how difficult it is to run that place? They have a gigantic jet aircraft that has to land on the ice. They've got to then take people from there to a huge camp, get them acclimated, tell them the rules, show them the where's and outs, where's the hospital, where's the doctor, where's the bathrooms, where's the gym, where's the gift shop, where's the maintenance yard, where's the airplanes, where can you go, where can you not go, where should you not pass?
So what you're saying then, Jaron, is you don't agree with Dave and his assessment of Antarctica any longer. In fact, I can't believe that any flat earther still says that we can't travel to Antarctica. And as far as my absolutely terrible memory will allow me to remember, Dave Weiss is still saying you can't just go to Antarctica, isn't he? Let me know in the comments below. Have I just confused myself again? Or is he actually saying that? And I just had a thought. You know how people like me have got a tendency to forget things? Why is it that I can remember that I've forgotten something, but I can't remember what that something is? Maybe somebody could let me know that in the comments as well.
You have no witnesses, right? And then
what do you mean?
That camp is we'll get to that in a second. But here's Agape Kingdom.
Yeah, look okay, that's Duffy's church.
Right? What does this look like? All right, I'm hey, to me it looks
simple.
It looks like the Freemason symbol. You flip it over, it looks like Baphomet. That's just weird.
Right, just weird. It's
Okay,
just,
we'll
let's
just say
point
that's
it
a
out, yeah.
coincidence, but maybe
But he's probably a Satanist.
Why does Dave Weiss insist on talking about things which are completely irrelevant to the topic at hand? So a church symbol that may look like something else if you squint and tilt your head a bit is your smoking gun. Now, I once saw a crisp that looked like Elvis. So does that mean that Elvis is part of Big Crisp?
if you look at when you see something in the news, like parroted and parroted and parroted and parroted, it's an operation.
So repetition equals conspiracy, does it, Dave? Then my microwave is part of a global plot because it just keeps repeating beep, beep, beep. Never mind that repetition is a common method of communication. I'm going to start claiming that every song on the radio is a secret message. They keep singing the same chorus over and over again.
And that's one of the key things we have. So now if you Google Flat Earther goes to Antarctica, there's pages and pages and pages of misquoting what Jaron said, right? I don't like what Jaron said.
Yeah, I bet you don't. Because what Jaron said is that he no longer believes the Earth is flat. And as Jaron was one of the most prominent flat earthers on the internet, he's a problem for people like you, Dave. Isn't he? Or is it that you're just green with envy that Jaron has had his 5 minutes of fame because news networks covered him and all that good stuff, and nobody wants to talk to you? Well, nobody worth talking to anyway.
He said, I came to Antarctica. And
You don't like me being honest, Dave?
I don't think it's just Dave Jaron. I think it's flat earthers in general. They all hate what you said because what you said was the truth, but it didn't support the flat earth. So, just thought I'd clarify that.
Now, there was a 24-hour sun. I thought there wasn't, and I was wrong.
Right. So I was honest, and I got to get this abuse from these losers who have never done a thing in their life.
Didn't follow it up with, but the lights in the sky don't prove the shape of the floor. Just
Because the lights in the sky can tell you about the floor. Just because you say differently, just because you're stealing a saying that we had to tell people you cannot say the sun is a sphere and so we're a sphere, you've just taken that, stolen it, and misapplied it. So you want me to lie then? That's what you guys want. This is what Flat Earth has become. I don't like what Jaron said. He told the truth. We don't tell the truth here in Flat Earth. We lie.
Remember a few months back in a video where I said that Jaron would make an awesome flat earth debunker? Well, I was right. What he just said gives us insight into the way flat earthers think. Not that we needed that insight, but it's nice to get something clarified.
proves our understanding of the sky. And so they ran with that, said that Flat Earther goes to Antarctica, and
Accepted that the evidence he was presented with was in no possible way possible.
Allow myself to introduce myself.
Let me try that again. And very quickly realized that there was absolutely no way that the Earth could be flat because the evidence he witnessed with his own eyes is impossible to apply to a flat Earth model. Isn't it, Dave?
the 24-hour sun in Antarctica doesn't work on a flat Earth.
Yeah, that's what I just said.
And I knew from day one, I said, if I'm honest, I don't give a what they do. I don't care. I'm sorry. I cannot prevent people from doing whatever the hell they want to do. I can prevent myself from being dishonest.
Finds out that it's round. And then they show every article has the disc floating in space. So misquoting and strawman images, nothing new under the sun. If you expected anything different, you've lost your mind.
Right. And we put up with this for 9 years. So why lose your mind now?
Straw man, because when you can't argue against the actual science, just claim the illustrations are lying.
Now I'm going to get into a couple of the green screen the issues. You guys have seen this where everyone's like, what the hell is going on here?
So Greensky... Not going well so far, is it? So green screen issues explain everything, right? I'm going to start blaming all my bad hair days on green screen. Your logic is truly groundbreaking, Dave, in a it's so bad it's good kind of way.
The guy that showed up out of nowhere, the millionaire preacher.
What do you mean he showed up out of nowhere? Do you realize that no matter what, that would be the thing that somebody did? How did they not show up out of nowhere? Did he fall from the sky? I mean, well, that is showing up out of nowhere. So what, you're making a point of something that is required. If somebody comes into the flat earth conversation after you, then they showed up out of nowhere.
I mean, who better than a former flat earther to highlight just how ridiculous some of the things flat earthers say actually are?
In his crappy little church that all he cares about is settling the debate, even though he's under federal indictment.
Federal indictment? Where's your evidence of that, Dave? Or are you just going to gaslight and lie about people?
Well, he's gonna lie, isn't he? Because that's what flat earthers have to do. Lie.
Why would you think that you from your house have more info than the people who went? You didn't ask me a fucking thing. You just lied and told people that I don't answer your calls.
Well, at this point, that shouldn't really be a surprise to you, Jerem, because that's what Dave does.
3 months. You haven't called me once.
Here's McToon, and his shadow goes this way. And they're like, well, look at this shadow. It's going this way. Well, if you look at this is a table, and that table is tilted this way.
Table is tilted this way. Ugh, I'd never realised how much of a whiny voice Dave Weiss had. You keep your opinions to yourself. My voice is lovely. There's about another 5 minutes of Weiss waffling, and personally, I like a big scoop of ice cream with my waffle, and there's none on offer. So if you want to see the rest of his waffle, head over to Jaron's channel. It's on his channel. Just did it again. Damn! Thanks for watching, everybody. Love you. Bye. What's the difference between a genealogist and a gynecologist? Well, a genealogist looks up the family tree, and a gynecologist looks up the family bush.
Well, ha ha ha.